from Limitless TV. He's here to answer a few questions. He primarily focuses on real estate investment. We have a few questions that kind of vary in real estate and just looking ahead in the future from a financial standpoint. Hi, Kris.
Hey, how we doing, Kristen? Glad to be here.
We are glad to have you as well. We have a lot of viewers on my channel that are in their early 20s. Some have more college debt than others. Some have, they took out credit cards. They're just trying to get themselves back on their feet. So we have a few questions here for you if you're ready. First question would be, what would your advice be for somebody who's looking to invest but always has inconsistent income?
Someone that wants to invest and has inconsistent income, I think it's important to figure out how to become more consistent in your earnings, because it'll certainly make your investing in real estate a lot more predictable, a lot easier. I had pretty inconsistent income when I actually started out. I was only working during the summers, and the way that I was able to retire in 4.5 years by the age of 26 while I was in college was because I was saving up my money that I was making during the summers and setting it aside for my investments. And so if you have a problem where you've got some inconsistent earnings, the first thing I do is just ask, what can I do to get my earnings more consistent? Because it'll help keep your budgets on track. And then you'll also not risk putting your investments at risk, because the moment you're personally hurting, then we tend to reach out to our investments and try to rob Peter to pay Paul, and we want to avoid that at all possible.
The next question, and this could be under any circumstance, in your opinion, what is the #1 reason why budgets fail?
Oh man, I think that honestly, probably one of the biggest reasons why budgets fail is because people don't make budgeting fun. I think that they see it as a deprivation methodology, and all of a sudden they want something, and then all of a sudden they have to slap their hand and tell themselves that they can't have it, or that they don't deserve it, or they're a bad person if they get it. And I think a successful budget is built on a premise that is fun. And what makes it fun for me is having a why. It's having a reason, like, why am I budgeting? It can't just be to fill a bottomless pit of get ahead. Because just for a moment, think about it. Oh, I'm budgeting because I want to have $1 million at retirement. Well, you could spend a lifetime throwing money into a pit, and for some of us, we might only fill it $100,000 or $200,000. We may never even get to the goal, and so we'll give up long before if we don't see ourselves on track. So if you want a higher level of commitment to your budget, give yourself a really good why. Give yourself a real good reason.
I completely agree with that. My next question has to do with a kind of controversial topic here on my channel, and it has to do with emergency funds. Some of my viewers think that they are required. Some people think that if they have money sitting in a savings account, they should be investing it, and if they need it, they'll pull it out and face the penalties. What is your opinion on an emergency fund?
Well, right now you're bringing up the question that your viewers have as if it's an either or. For me, the answer is both. I have 4 specific buckets that I put money into: my bills, my savings, my investing, and charitable contributions. I have a reason for all 4 of those, and for me to be financially balanced, it's important that I contribute to all 4 of those. And by the way, if you don't have the ability to contribute to all 4 of those, then you have an essential need for budgeting more successfully and really diving in, and all of a sudden you have a pretty big why. I think it's important to be growing your Sleep Well at Night fund. That's what I call my emergency account. I call it my SWAN account, Sleep Well at Night, right? Because more than being able to have money in the time of an emergency is being able to have peace of mind when you're not having an emergency. So that's where I like to have a part of my savings go, and as long as I'm building that up, then I also set money aside for investing. And I show people on my channel all sorts of strategies where for even as little as $1,000, you can start making some significant money in real estate. So it doesn't mean you have to have $50,000 or $100,000. People sometimes think that you need a lot of money to make money, and I simply haven't found that to be true, especially where I started with nothing. I was actually in debt, and it was through the power of budgeting that I got ahead, and it was adding to my SWAN account at the same time I was adding to my investment account. And as I grew both, I became more prosperous and abundant, but I was also sleeping really well at night with that inner peace because of that budgeting for that rainy day.
Kris, do you have a video on your sleep well at night tactic? If you do, I want to include it in the cards because that is a really great saying. I think it'll stick with a lot of people. Sleep well at night, your SWAN. That's awesome.
Well, we do have one video. It's called How Much Should I Be Saving? So we do address it there, and I'll make sure that Nate gives you the video on that. And specifically speaking to the fear and anxiety that people have, I found that it's not necessarily having an amount of money that makes the fear go away. It's having an action plan and doing something about the fear. Some people might only be in a position to put $30 or $10 or $300 every month towards that sleep well at night account. And instead of thinking, I need a destination of a certain amount before I'll sleep well at night and feel comfortable, I find that most people find that anxiety dropping just by taking action and doing something about it. So having a dedicated account where that money goes and knowing that you're contributing a little bit more to it every month means that you can at least look back, and if the account isn't how much you'd like, you can at least pat yourself on the back and say, I'm doing something about it. I'm not ignoring it. And there's a good feeling that comes with that.
I agree. I think I slept better at night after my first, house was purchased. I'm sure you know how stressful that is on the first time around. But I think having that money really does help, your sleep well at night. I think I have 2 more questions for you. The first one is, what are the best ways, in your opinion, what are some of the best ways to invest your money? If someone says, maybe real estate isn't my thing, what are other things that you have seen either personally or through other people in your life that have become good investment outlets?
This is a really great question. So first of all, my bigger picture philosophy is that whatever you do invest in, if you run the math on it and if it doesn't have the ability to get where you want to go, then for me, it's not a viable option for investing. For me, my rules of investing is that it should be paying me on a monthly basis. And then the 2 things that almost always qualify is I'll invest in business the way Warren Buffett did, or I'll invest in real estate the way Warren Buffett did. Okay, I think he's a great role model for a lot of us. And real estate doesn't require a lot of money, and business doesn't always have to require a lot of money. And I'm not just talking about traditional stocks and bonds. There are all sorts of opportunities for businesses that have proven themselves. Maybe it might even be your business. It might be your idea. I love investing in me, especially if it'll bring me fulfillment and joy and happiness. And so those are the 2 things that I preliminarily look at. And the reason why is the rule of 72 basically says we can take compounding interest and figure out how long will it take for me to double my money. And if I put my money in some of the known retirement vehicles out there, it might take me decades before I double my money. And it's proven to not get me what I need or where I want to go. But business and real estate, they can be riskier, but they also actually hold the possibility for getting me where I want to go. And so I think that one of my rules is it has to pay me, and one of my other rules is it actually has to give me a real ability to achieve retirement. And if it can't, then it's broken before I even start.
Exactly. Do you have to have a payout immediately, or is there a timeline? Like, do you say, I need to start making money in 6 months' time, 3 months' time, the first week? What is your timeline for an investment?
This is a great question. Real estate and business end up being very similar. If I make an investment within a short period of time, I expect it to start paying me. I want dividends. And many of the retirement vehicles or investment options out there, they don't actually do that. It's actually a speculative investment. What we're doing is we're putting money in and we're hoping for a good payout down the road. The nice thing and the beauty of investing in real estate, investing in business, is that if you do your investment the right way, and I have a lot of my videos on my channel teaching exactly what that means, then you can start getting immediate returns. And so for me, an investment is something that pays me actively, and I would expect that to start happening within the first few months of getting it started.
Do you have a video that specifically focuses on how you retired at age 26?
I do. I've got a few different videos. I tend to have I've got a wide array on my demographic, but I've got a lot of 20 and 30-year-olds, a lot of young people. And so a lot of our subscribers come from people that are intrigued by that and want to know how I did that. What I did is very duplicatable. I have thousands of people engaged in that journey. I've created a pretty significant handful of millionaires, multi-millionaires, people that are today, as we speak, financially free and living the life that they want as opposed to the job that they used to have. And for me, the real big emphasis is on freedom. It's not so much about financial lucre or having a lot of bigger house, bigger lifestyle. It's really just more, especially for people that feel cramped by a job or feel limited, that want to have the ability to grow themselves and to have the freedom to do it in a way that they want. So I've got quite a few videos on my channel that specifically share how I did that, and I share a variety of ways that people can do the same thing.
I am going to link a few of those in the cards of this video, because I know a lot of my viewers on this side are trying to find different ways to make the most of the one life they're given, who are trying to find ways to utilize their time and spend less time in the office and more time with their family. We have one last question here for you, Kris, and it is, what is one piece of financial advice that is useful to both those climbing out of debt and poverty and to those who are extremely wealthy? In other words, what's one piece of financial advice that could help anyone regardless of where they are in their financial journey?
You know, one of my secret loves with financial abundance and prosperity is I love to invest in mentors, and probably the mentor I've paid the most money to once gave me this advice. He said, Kris, the most dangerous information is what you don't know. And whether you're climbing out of debt, whether you're break even, or whether you're vastly wealthy, the reality is the most dangerous information to all three of those individuals is what they don't know. And that will always remain true, which means that knowledge is power. Applied knowledge is even more powerful. And so I love to ask a lot of questions during my day, every day, about what is it that I don't know? What can I learn more about? What can I get educated on? Because when I invest on the real estate between my ears, this is the most valuable investment that I can make into me. It's not investing into my budget. It's not investing into my bills, my past financial choices. I want all those obligations met. I want to take responsibility and accountability for them. But when there's money left over, whether we're talking about investing in real estate or investing in business, there's one investment that trumps that, and that's investing in you. So make sure that you're on a daily journey to continue removing your own blind spots, because your blind spots are the things that are going to cause you the most trouble in life. But the moment you engage as an evergreen student, always learning, never saying, I got it, is the moment you really open yourself up to absorbing new information and more information, a cup that never quite fills, so that you become wiser with time, making better and better decisions.
That is perfect. Well, Kris, thank you so much for joining us here in this interview.
You're welcome. I'm really glad that I could be here on the call with you, Kristen.
And once again, Kris is somebody who has retired at the age of 26 and has an entire channel dedicated to showing you guys how it doesn't take a lot of money to make a lot of money, invest in your wealth, have a better tomorrow, and live your life to the fullest. Once again, his channel is Limitless TV. I will have him linked at the end of this video and down below in the description box. Thank you, Kris. I hope you have a great day.
Thank you, Kristen. You guys take care. See you later.